Oh,
There we
okay.
go. Enchanted Core. Normally, people always go into the whole like, what's the background, the whole origins, and all of that. But I don't want to start with
Mm,
that. I want to start with
okay.
like current time, and then we'll do your origin story. So I'm
Perfect.
interested in like what's going on with you now these days. What is Enchanted Core doing? Like, what's like the last thing that you've done as a DJ?
Okay. The last thing I did as a DJ probably would be uh an open deck I attended few weeks back.
Okay.
But other than like actually DJing, I've been hooked up onto like my studio a lot. So I've been making a lot of music, a lot of originals coming out this year. So I've been producing a lot of different genres. So from bass house to D&B, a lot of dubstep. So I've been making a lot of music mainly.
Would you say you're more leaning into the producer bag than the DJing bag?
No, honestly, for me, it goes hand in hand.
Okay.
Because both of them is kind of equal. In sense, when I'm DJing, I always need something new, something unique to give it to the audience. And
Mm-hmm.
that's only possible if I produce something new, something unique, or
Mm.
something different. Either it's my own twist for a famous song, a remix, or just a little hype vocal or something. I need to like, produce it. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Okay. So it's not like you have more fun doing one than the other. It's just like a marriage to you. So
Yeah.
it's like you love performing, you love putting the music out there, but you like having that special twist. Like, and I guess in the case where some DJs want to be the ones be like, you could only hear this with me. Like I have
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. That's a
Okay.
thing I do a lot because I don't know, it's always fun to give something unique when a different DJ is going up. For example, if there's different lineups and my name comes up, I always want to make it memorable. And the only way I can make it memorable is if I give something unique, what I could think of, if something I think of creatively, I cannot find it online. I'm like, oh shit, I have to go produce this. How do I do this? Ah,
Right.
okay, let's go produce this. Bring it back. Okay, now it's a little more unique. So
I do have to tell you for sure because I remember I met you at the last open deck I was at because I
yeah,
don't really get a chance to go to them much.
yeah.
But I did meet you. And I have to say, because I was around for your set too, and you are one of the more memorable sets
Thank you
because
so
you have
much.
you bring like it's not even just the music that you're playing, it's the energy that you bring as
Thank you
well.
so much.
Cause kind of it was all chill. Even when I got on decks, I wasn't really all like I just let me just play some, do some mixing, just play a little. But when you guys came on, even because I had someone who's with me, the guest I brought, they weren't even really into, they're not really into DJing. They're just like a normal club goer, right?
Yeah.
And she specifically is not a big fan of any sort of EDM. She rarely likes house music or or dubstep or anything. But she even said when you came on, she's like, ah, yeah, you and I forget your friend. I forget his name.
Blazer. Music by
Blazer.
Blazer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you guys went back to back, right? It was
Uh,
him and then you, I think, or the other way
that
around.
that that think so. It was either him and me, and then I think it was him and then me. Honestly, it's been a while.
Your whole block of you two. You brought a
Yeah.
lot of energy, and it was one of the ones that
Thank you
made
so
people
much.
stop and think, okay, all right, these
Thank you.
guys are out here with some energy, man. All right. Um. So the music that you're producing, is it in a sense that and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to jump to conclusions or whatnot, but are you looking for like in the future to like maybe like own a record label or something, or like a production studio where you guys are just specifically just putting out things like kind of like the first person that comes to mind is maybe like a I don't want to say Marshmallow, but more like a Diplo or someone of that sort who have there's a lot of music. They collaborate with other big name artists and just make songs, and then outside
Yeah.
of being a DJ,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
just have a song out there.
Yeah. That is one of my dreams. So uh, I do want to open up a record label one day. Obviously right now I'm just trying to figure out with myself.
Mm.
Uh, One day I would definitely want a record label where, you know, it's mainly just for like the music. not only what I like, uh, but what's like trending with like the upcoming artists if they need, a special place to promote their music, have a little platform. Because when I started DJing, uh, even back in India, it was pretty difficult to get into the EDM scene.
Okay.
So if I start a record label, it's like nowadays a lot of EDM indie artists are coming up a lot, and they still don't have a good platform. I probably
Okay.
want to go towards that, even though it's not like my style kind of music. I would still want to make a record label where all these indie artists get a platform to, shine, share the music, and actually, when you upload the song, actually have some feedback come through from like an audience, something like that.
Okay. I didn't because since you mentioned you're from India, I take it, of
Yeah,
course, right?
yeah, South
I don't
India.
have too I don't have too much I have to apologize right now. I have an American education, which means we're ignorant when it comes to geography and other places. When the times that I play out, so like I do open format, right?
Yeah,
And every now and then the main club where I DJ at, and it's just a small local club. I do sometimes there are Indian people. I'm going to assume some of them are Indian. I don't know exactly what. So, and a lot of times, not to be stereotypical, but it always ask for like Bangalore or something, and we always play the same old. Is it Mundai to that Punjabi MC
yeah,
song?
yeah, yeah.
But a lot of times they ask for I might pronounce his name wrong, but it's Sidhu Mus Wahala. I think that's his name. I know
Yeah,
he's
I
passed
think,
since,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but he's more like a hip hop artist.
Hmm.
But I'm bringing all of this up to say, like, so I would expect, the stereotypical stuff, of course, is Sidhu because he's huge and hip hop is big in everywhere anyway.
Literally, yeah.
But I've noticed they it's it, they get into a lot of EDM, and I started thinking, I wonder if this is like a big thing, you know.
Yeah,
So I guess you, as far as not even just like just consuming it, but making it, you know what I
yeah.
mean? So I never really understood. I wasn't aware. So are you saying then it is like a big growing genre as far as people producing EDM music and since EDM is so broad, right? Would that also be like because I think it sounds like you're mostly into not I shouldn't say mostly, but your set sounded like a lot of dubstep to me,
Yeah,
dubstep and
it,
in
it,
that
it
realm.
is it is heavily inspired by dubstep. So what I mainly play is bass house. Bass
Okay.
house is technically dubstep
Hmm.
house.
Okay.
Pretty much. So it's all the heavy basses of like dubstep, but you get the groove of house. So you still get that 128 BPM club jumping kind of a thing. Yet it's not
Mm,
like super dark. Well, when because dubstep can sometimes tends to get a little aggressive. This is
yeah.
still very aggressive, but in terms of a little more party club hype kind of thing.
Okay. Well, that being said, I guess we could start going into your origin story a little bit.
Yeah,
What got you? I'm going to assume that like dubstep is like your personal listening preference as well. Like if
no.
you weren't making it, would you just listen to that? Or is there something else you'd rather listen to? And you just when Enchanted Core is just chilling, he's had a long day at work or wherever,
Yeah,
what do you actually listen to?
there's a lot of stuff. I actually my music journey started as a drummer.
Oh, okay.
So I got into drums because of heavy rock and metal music. So I started with a lot of Slipknot, Megadeth, went I pre
Megadeth.
yeah,
Okay.
I prevail. I really like the very fast thing. That's why I think I like dubstep as well. Started with
Okay.
that a lot, got into drums, and then one of my friends showed me Hardwell. He's like a big room artist from he was a big room artist, now he's got into hard techno. Uh
Okay.
Back in I think 2014. I'm like, oh shit, there's a genre like EDM. I didn't know there's something like this. Then I started researching on that, and Oh my God, I fell in love with it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Slipknot, and because I try to music is music. Whatever the genre, a good song is a good song
Yeah.
if the elements line up for you, right? And
100%.
there is some heavy metal. I do like some Slipknot. I do like maybe not super heavy metal because I think Slipknot is like the hardest stuff I've ever listened to. Maybe
Okay.
I think Slipknot's the hardest. Mushroomhead was a band back in
Yeah.
the day I've listened to. Rammstein.
Oh yeah.
Um, so and then I go softer into like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No, they're still pretty good. I was also listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers back in when I started drumming. That was in 2013, 2014. So
So you started drumming. You said 2013, 2014 when you started drumming.
yeah.
How long do you still do you still drum now or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah?
So it's been about 10 years ish, roughly, because I did take a break in between, just because of exams and studies and stuff like that.
Right,
But roughly about 10 years, I still drums. Rhythm is one of my favorite things ever. When I'm making music or when I'm listening to music, rhythm is like the first thing that hits me. I'm like, oh
right.
shit. That's like Afro House, Mumbaton. Those are like another inspiration for me, even though they are away from dubstep and uh, any other usual genre I play. I take a lot of inspiration from that, just because the rhythms are too good.
No, it's funny. Like I agree with you with the rhythm and whatnot, but funny enough, when I was younger and I did like rock music, I liked the electric guitar. I actually got an electric guitar and I started learning power riffs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
drum
yeah,
is dope. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
I always respected the drummers because that looked like the most difficult instrument in the whole band. Being able to, the hand-eye coordination that it takes to be a drummer. I always thought that was
Yeah. Initially, it feels like four different limbs just not working.
yeah.
Trust me, it does feel like that. But after a while, once you start getting like the basic money beat, yeah, it becomes all right, like any other thing.
Now I'm of the impression I feel anyway that if you start out with music and music production or playing an instrument or whatever, it actually makes you a better DJ. I think it gives you more insight into how to put mixes together and how to arrange songs or whatnot.
Mm.
And so you said you started out drumming, right? So how comes you didn't feel like going into a rock band or something like this or starting a band? How is it that you managed to just veer into DJing instead? And
I wa
that's to say, I don't know if you did have any aspirations of being
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
rock
yeah.
band or anything like that.
I was in a rock band and fusion, like Carnatic fusion rock band. So
Okay,
Carnatic is like another Indian classical genre.
okay,
So what we used to do was get Carnatic music, different ragas, and give them like a Western twist to it with like heavy metal guitars, drums, different time signature progressions, different tempos. Because in Carnatic music, that's how it is. So I was in that kind of a band. Then I even moved to a jazz band because my friend was like, I'm moving to jazz. Do you want to come? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? This is another stepping stone, I guess. I was
is this
there.
friend Blazer, by the way,
No, no,
or
no.
is this a different friend?
Yeah, this was a different friend.
Okay, okay.
Blazer was still part of all of this, but he
Hmm.
was still, I think, involved with electronic music at that time, while I was still just not to swear, but like fucking around with everything.
Fair, that's fair. I'll bleep that out later.
Yeah. But
Okay,
yeah, even later I combined like my band and DJing together. That was even fun.
okay, okay. And what is the actual? What year is it that you said I'm definitely DJing now? Now this is the whole thing now. Now I'm a DJ. I'm a producer. I'm Enchanted Core. When did that actually happen?
20, I think 2017. Uh, that's actually 2018.
Hmm.
So 2018 is when think I turned 13. Whenever I turned 13, I hosted like a little party. I invited all my school friends, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna show them who I am now. Like, got my DJ deck, got some lights out, rented like a small venue just next to my house with barely with like my mom's support. Like, can you please book this venue? I just want to throw a DJ party. I know it's my birthday, but I'll DJ for it. Got all my friends, got like 50 people in front of me, and I started showing them. Uh, I can DJ. I played. I didn't play any of my originals because I back then I didn't produce,
Right.
but I was just DJing some uh big room, hardware kind of stuff, dubstep, trap, all of those mixtures. Yeah, that's probably the time I started. Like, okay, when I was 13.
Have you like since then have you found yourself like in clubs or like what's been like the DJ journey as far as playing out?
Who big turn, big turn of events. So back when I was 13, obviously, one, I was not legal to play in clubs
Of course.
because in India, the drinking age was 21. And even
Okay.
if you have to go perform or something, you need to be 21. They just, even though it's, even though legally it's allowed to be 18 and go perform, they won't let you inside if you're 21.
Actually, let me ask you because I didn't even exercise any math here. How old are you right now?
19.
You're only 19. I'm thinking this is some
No,
old
no,
guy over here.
no, no, no.
So
I'm
you're only
like you, right?
19, so you still have plenty of time. Okay, my bad. So you have plenty of time to. All right, so then, so all right, so what's the journey right now then? Because you're
Yeah,
only getting into a spot where you could even be out in clubs and stuff like that.
yeah. Well, funnily enough, when I turned 16, I was like, I looked old enough to get into clubs.
Hmm.
So I just hung out with people who were much older than me. And because I always went as a group, they wouldn't ask for IDs.
Right.
So I would just enter the club. I would take their help, enter the club, go meet the DJ, go meet the manager. And then I started like booking in shows. Uh, then I started doing like club shows with like just telling them, yeah, I'm 21. I'm definitely legal to perform here.
Nice.
I didn't tell them anything about me being 16. They will offer me drinks. I'm like, yeah, just a Red Bull is fine. Coke is fine. I'm not
Cool, cool,
drinking.
cool. Cool. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What did you
Then,
would you say like so how often did you get to pull that off? Did you like how many? Because when you would pull that off, would they like let you like DJ for like an hour or something like that? Or
yeah, pretty much. So it'll be like, I'll mostly go befriend like the main act,
hmm,
the headliner. Go meet him. Then after that, go text him later in Instagram or the phone number he gives. Go get food with him or just hang out with him in the studio or her. And then using that influence, I'm like, can I open for you? And then that's how it kind of began. So that DJ would support me by letting me open, like just get the crowd in. So play
nice.
some lower BPM songs, but not like obviously club numbers. So just to get the crowd inside, get them little dancing, and then just hand over the decks to the main act for performing. That's how it started in India.
Did that help like kind of grow your love for performing in front of people?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because man, it's tough to get a crowd to dance. E- Especially you don't know what music they like. You need to pretty much have everything. It,
Yeah.
so I start with like a little bit of everything. I play English, Hindi, Punjabi, Tamil, and then see how the crowd reacts to each one of the songs.
Hmm.
And seeing which song gets the most reaction, okay, I'll start playing that more. See if that's the direction I want to go towards. Okay, that's working. If Hindi is working, just keep playing Hindi. Get the
Yeah.
crowd in. Uh, Play some Bollywood songs. Get that in. While playing Bollywood, slowly start like mixing my EDMs into it. So like a little mashup. Start doing that just so I could get like few videos of my songs being played in clubs.
Nice. That's
And
good, man.
that's how it started. Like kind of okay, I'm getting a hold of this. Initially, it was difficult, dude. It was. because they wouldn't even let you DJ unless and until you bring like, let's say 20, 30 people with you.
Okay. You know, when was the first time that you played one of your or if you could take me back there as per just give me the memory of you're DJing and you play one of your own mashups or anything and you get like a good
Yeah.
like the crowd reacts really well. Like when was the first time that happened?
Uh,
If you could
so
remember.
yeah, I can definitely. So this was a mashup of, I think, the song Friday by Nightcrawlers and Written. He made like a 2019 edit of it, a
Yeah,
2020
yeah.
edit, and then I mashed it up with Dua Lipa. I posted that on Instagram. That kind of Dua Lipa's Levitating. Yeah, I
Oh,
posted that in
levitating. Okay.
Instagram. That kind of went a little viral. Got a little clicks around like the community in like Chennai. That's where I'm from. And
Okay.
then that same Saturday I was supposed to play. And you know what? Time to rip this mashup up. I started live mashup. Played the track here. Made sure it's like a instrumental, not like with the vocals.
Hmm.
Then got the other deck, got the acapella out, and just started mashing it up. And oh
Nice.
my God, that was a good feeling. That was definitely a good feeling because everyone were like cheering up because they knew the mashup was I did it.
Yeah.
Everyone knew they were like screaming my name. Like, oh
That's
shit,
excellent,
this
man.
feels good.
Excellent,
Yeah.
man. I said you deserve a round of applause for that one. You deserve a round of applause for that one. Let's get the clapping out. Round of applause for the mashup. So, do you think like you're going to put out like say maybe a I mean, do you because I didn't get a chance to look at some of your stuff, which I will after this now, and I'll try to probably put some of it into the video, right? Like your socials and whatnot. And do you have like a specific place like maybe like Mixcloud or something where you just highlight just mashups that you do? And do you put it out so like other DJs can get them?
I haven't done that a lot because just haven't gone towards that side. Most of the
Mm,
thing that I put out, it's either my own originals, which I have put out a lot. So through Spotify, uh, I'll have like a free download page if follow me or like
yeah.
some kind of competition. But most of the time, or not all the time, it's just been my originals. I've never put out a mashup, just because I don't know, never never thought to do it.
I mean, the way that that one that you were talking about worked.
Yeah, it. I could have actually just put the Dua Lipa and Levitating mashup out, but I don't know.
And the reason
The
I say that is even that's kind of a new thing for me because when I in my DJing, I didn't used to like mashups. I just wanted to hear the original
Yeah,
thing because that's what people generally. If I'm and I come from a background of mostly at first it was R&B and hip hop and bashment and that type of stuff, right? So most times people just want to hear what the original was.
yeah,
Only when I started kind of moving into EDM, which is mostly just house and dance music and that, then I start hearing all the mashups and whatnot. And I start hearing that like that's a big thing now, especially when, like trying to source music, for instance, that's a headache in itself. And I started going to places like BeatSource, for instance, and I noticed they
mm,
do a lot of mashups there, and that's a big thing, especially if you use SoundCloud. SoundCloud is
yeah,
notorious for all kinds of mashups all over.
yeah, yeah,
And I realized like, okay, people really are into the whole because now, and this is just my opinion, um, the world of DJing is such a saturated place now. Like everyone's a DJ. And you have different types of DJs now. I remember I was laughing and joking with someone. This is how old I felt, right? I was like, we were DJing before there was like laptops. I mean,
yeah,
laptops existed, but no one used
yeah,
them to DJ.
yeah, yeah.
And it was like, yeah, that's when we were DJing. Like we actually had to beat match by ear and shit. Like, and now you have this software that can pretty much do most of it for you. And that's not to take away from people who maybe rely on the software to do certain things because it's still an art form in itself because it's still down to what you were saying earlier. If you are playing for a crowd, It's reading the crowd. That's a skill in itself. Arranging the music in a particular way. That's a skill in itself. Controlling the energy of, okay, we're going to start out with this and it's kind of low energy and I'm going to pick them up this way to lead into all of that is skills in itself. And I think a lot of people who want to become DJs, they overlook that. They don't realize that
Yeah,
there's so much that goes into it. There's so many little things that need to come together to be a good DJ. And I was telling someone, it's not hard to DJ, but it's hard to DJ well.
very true.
And
Very
that's what I've
true.
been putting across to people because they
Yeah.
always make the same jokes. It's like, oh, you DJ, you just pressing buttons and going chicka chicka chicka. I'm like, no, that's not how it goes, bro.
It's the actual DJing, beat matching, and all those kind of stuff. That's honestly very easy to figure it
Yeah.
out how to do it because it's and most of the time at this day and age, if you use sync, the crowd is not going to come to know. You're using you're making your life a little easier. So a lot of DJs do it.
Hmm.
That makes actual DJing pretty easy. But the whole mental thing that goes into DJ in terms, as you said, reading the crowd, seeing if they're actually okay with this while still maintaining the energy of, the night, making sure you're not going way too overboard than the headliner who's actually supposed to play. And keeping those all in mind, that starts actually okay. It's a journey by itself.
And I'm glad you
Start
said
being
that, by the way, because I think there's a lot of young DJs, and I'm sorry, I don't want to be ageist or anything, but I classify as a young DJ now. Not to do anything if you're skilled, just your age, because you
yeah,
still
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
so much more DJing to do. So,
Yeah, 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 sure,
and if
sure.
you're this good already, imagine, I could just imagine when you finally like say when you hit 30, you should be like, I imagine so many good things for you. But
Thank
what I was
you.
saying is, it's cool that you have that sort of temperament because that's one thing when I used to be on the circuit a little bit more. You get the DJs, they come in to do their slots, and they don't give a shit about the rest of the night. They just want to play what they want to play, and they want to play all the cool stuff, and they want to look good. And it's like, I'm glad that you have the presence of mind to think, well, listen, I'm not the only person DJing, and I have to contribute to the night. I have to play a role in this night. So if I started early, let me just warm things up. Let me not try to steal the show or anything like that, because there is a headliner, or there are people later on. And
Yeah,
sometimes DJs forget that and they mess up the experience for the audience because now the
yeah,
audience just hears DJs doing the same thing over and over
yeah.
or whatnot. So it's good that you have that, man. I was gonna ask you later on. I'll ask you like what you think because people watching this, some people who come across this video, either if it's the video or they just come across the audio version, might be aspiring. So because you are very much in your journey and getting on the way, it'd be cool to hear some things that maybe you think that you've learned so far. But before I ask you that, Enchanted Core, how did you come up with that name?
So initially, my name when I was very young was DJ Python. Not even Python. I had misspelled my name by mistake.
Okay.
Python.
Right.
I don't know how did I do that, but I ended up doing it. Okay. I need to get a new name fast, and I need a name one that stands out. One oh okay.
Oh, okay.
Didn't
I was
know.
like, I've never seen that before. I was
Yeah,
like, oh.
exactly. Uh, so one that stands out. If anyone searches the name Enchanted Core, let it be in Google, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, I'm the one who should come up because uh, I started doing some research back then. They started talking about SEOs and stuff like that. I'm like, okay,
Mm,
I need it to be unique, but I also need it to be personal at the same time.
yeah.
So what I did, took down a piece of paper, wrote like every little cool word I came up with. Enchanted. That's a pretty cool word. Core. Okay. Here. I knew I wanted to be like two words for sure. Didn't want it to be a
Right.
single. So mismatch. Uh, Enchanted Forest sounds weird. Then I came up with Enchanted Core. No one had it. It was pretty unique enough. And yeah, and that's okay. That's the name. Enchanted Core.
Okay. So what like you just deliberated over it for maybe like a day or something like that, and you thought, yep, this works.
Uh, Day or two. Definitely there too.
Was and I'll try to get Blazer separately, but I know he's been a part of your journey too, right?
We started together.
When you told him, I was like, "This is my DJ name." What did he say to you?
Yeah, this is a pretty good.
He was like, "He was like, cool,
His
yeah."
his previous name, the name I got Enchanted.
Mhm.
His previous name was the Enchanted Flames. He had like a gaming channel and stuff when we were young.
Okay.
I'm like, that's a cool word. Can I
Mhm.
use it? And he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Well, okay, I'm using that. So that's how Enchanted Core came up.
Nice, nice, nice. Your your parents,
Yeah.
um, what do they think about? In fact, you said you had to take exams or whatnot, right? So what did you actually go to? Like, what is the degree that you've been trying to get,
Uh,
or already have? I don't know. Like, what the?
I mean, I did uh in India like the IGCSE AS A levels that usually isn't there in India, but
Okay,
I, I was fortunate enough for my mom to send put me through some good education where not gonna lie, that's the school I found out I could do something with music because
okay,
I in my previous school they didn't have a specific music class or anything, and I didn't know that was you can even learn stuff like that. I just used to think, oh, people just know it and they do it. But uh, after realizing, oh shit, there's classes, you can go learn it, and that's where I started getting to know about music, and so that's through IGCAC. Then I took music, business, media studies, and English as like my core four subjects for my high school. That's my AS and A levels.
okay. And see now you're 19 now.
Yeah.
Does that mean like are you going to like uni or something like that or
Yeah. Uh,
and
uh,
is it still like media studies that you're doing or is it more
music,
like media based?
music. I'm studying in
Okay.
Point Blank Music School. I'm studying music production and sound engineering, bachelor's.
Point Blank. I've heard of Point Blank. Really good. Really good.
Yeah.
I asked you that question because I don't know if this is this is a stereotype I've seen about like say Indian parents or whatnot because it's the same like I have a Caribbean background and they say stuff like, "Yeah, leave that stupid music alone. Go be a lawyer. Go be a doctor. What are you doing with your life?" So did you get any of that pushback, or they were just like, you know what? If this is what you want to do, this is cool. And before I even answer that, is this what you like? 30-year-old Enchanted Core. What does 30-year-old Enchanted Core look like? What is he
Uh,
doing?
13 or 30. Sorry.
33-0.
Hopefully, with God's grace, hopefully
Mm-hmm.
touring the world, putting out a lot of music. When I go up on the stage, there's like 100K people just screaming my name, ch- and making sure I'm not the only one up on that stage. I have my best friends
Nice.
around me, the best musicians around me, my family behind me supporting. Like I want the people around me to go up to that stage with me. I don't want to go there alone. It's no fun. But yeah, that's the 30-year-old Enchanted Core I would want to be.
So you're all in with this music stuff. You're all in with all of this.
When I started the name Enchanted Core, that's when I decided I'm all in. I'm not doing anything else but this. I
Okay.
don't give up anything else. This is what I'm going to be doing. I'll figure it out. I have my mom. She's supporting me like anything.
Nice.
So I have her support. I don't need anything else in this world.
Nice.
She's given me her sweat. She's given me so much of support. It's because of her I'm in London. If she
Okay.
isn't here, I'm no one. There's no Enchanted Core. There is. It's all her.
Let me ask you, you're getting into how long have you been in London so far then?
1 year. Just
1 year?
yeah.
How has the what has been some of the most like let's say interesting things that you had to adapt to coming from India and then coming into London?
Uh, More so, there's quite a lot of stuff I had to immediately get adapted to, other than obviously the obvious. with the food,
Mm.
weather, like the
The
whole
weather's a
living.
big one.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
uh, because in India it's either very hot
Mm.
or it's raining, but in sense of okay, it rains once and then it's fine for the day.
Right. Yeah.
Over here, weather was a huge part. And another thing uh, I felt slightly different was the little bit of culture of just people talking and just being all uh, social. I guess that part was a little different when I came here, because back in India, when let's say when we finish class or something, or we are outside in like tuition, or like I'm in my drums class. What most
Mm.
of the time happens is you finish everything, you go out together, you probably get something to eat, or you hang out for like 1 hour, 2 hours together, and uh then probably go home. But be very social. Over here, initially when I joined my uni, everyone was just pretty closed off to themselves. They'll come to class, they'll attend, oh hi, hello, and they'll leave. I think that's probably because I think mine's an international class, so there's from different places, so might
Mm.
not be comfortable or something, but that's a thing that kind of I had to get used to, because I'm pretty social with
Mm.
talking. But once I found like a group of friends, then it took a while though. Definitely took much longer than how it would take in India.
Okay, I can imagine. I had with that aspect, I had something similar. I could kind of relate to that because I grew up in New York, and I wouldn't say like New York is pretty similar to England as far as a lot of people just mind their business and do their own thing. But I don't think as much as here because they're quite sociable there to the point that people would make fun of me because I'm always talking.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, you're at the why are you talking to the cash register, the cashier so much?" I'm like, "Why
Yeah.
not?" Like, or if I'm at a bus stop or the train platform, and don't get me wrong, I'm not crazy. I don't just walk into a crowd and start talking to people, but if it's just me and there's just somebody else right there on it's just us. It's just weird not to say, "Hey, what's up?" Like, are you
Yeah, yeah.
just talk to people?
Yeah, that was little like a stepping stone. Okay. But
Yeah, but it's kind of hard at first that I mean, and I don't know if that's maybe that's a British culture thing that people are very standoffish until you get into their I don't
close
know
circle
their
maybe.
circle or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
But then even that I've noticed, and I don't know if you've experienced this yet, and I don't want to bad talk England or anything like that. But there's like a
There's nothing
lot
bad
of
about it. It's just something new.
well, I'm gonna tell you something bad. What I think is bad
Yeah.
is people. What I've experienced so far is there's a lot of let's say hypocrisy,
Hmm.
because I'll speak with people and I see them laughing with each other, and when one of them walks away, then they just say something bad about them. I was like, wow, okay, I thought you
Uh,
liked this person. And then
uh,
they'll see them again and be like, hi, how's blah 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 blah, and I'm like, but you think this person's a prick? Like you told me that you think this
yeah.
person's a prick. But obviously, I don't get into all of that
Yeah,
stuff. I
yeah.
just observe it myself, and I go, wow, and I see it happen a lot, and I think, wow, okay, and I come from the extreme other end where they make this joke about New Yorkers, like or Americans, period. They're just always in your face, and they offer up stuff they didn't even ask them for. They give you their opinion anyway. So I'm the complete opposite. If I
Yeah.
don't like something or I don't like a person, I have to go tell
You
them,
just you just said.
hey, you. Hey, you know what you said yesterday? And I have to go. But yeah. But anyway, back to the music though.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty cool that you, first of all, just some of the things that you had the presence of mind for, like when you were picking your name to think about, basically that's your brand. So you're thinking about branding and whatnot. Do you actually have like a logo and
Yeah.
branding in that sense, specific colors and blah blah blah?
Yeah. I
Nice.
tend to go with a lot of uh, purple color because I don't know, whenever I think of the word enchanted, it's always something very mystic, powerful,
Yeah.
something very foresty,
I
dark.
was just gonna say, it makes you think of some enchanted forest in a Disney film or something.
Exactly, yeah.
There's magic
So
happening.
exactly. So even then, purple is one of my favorite colors.
Mm.
So that kind of is the aspect I nowadays I'm going for. Initially, I liked it, but I just didn't know what to do with it. I had a logo. It obviously evolved in the years that I was in Core from like 2013. It has evolved a lot. No, not 2013. Sorry. When I was from 13, I was probably 2018. So from then, my logo has evolved a lot. Colors have changed, style has changed. But right now I'm in like a comfortable place where I like how it looks. It looks professional. Uh, I like to go with it. I like to maintain it for God's sake and not change it again.
Do you have like a you said you have like some of your own original compositions on like Spotify and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? Do you have is it mainly like dubstep type of stuff, or well, you said you do make a lot of different things anyway. Do you do any like drum and bass stuff?
Recently I started getting into drum and bass, and recently meaning 1 month. That's
Okay.
how recent it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
I just wanted to take up a challenge because so many people here play garage, drum and bass, house. And back in India, we usually only play like the commercial hits, not like actual full on D&B night. Just here and there, we'll drop like the commercial hits. Uh, uh, so you know what? I was like, you know what? Let's take a challenge. Let's get into drum and bass. That's something up my alley. I like the sounds. I like the energy because energy is like something very important for me. I like that you gotta go crazy. That kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, drum and bass is in my alley. I started producing it, messed about, started DJing now. Haven't put out a set or haven't performed anywhere yet, but soon, hopefully.
Let me ask you about your producing, because I dabble in producing myself for a bit, and it's something looking to get back into. Um, what is the what's like your production journey like? What was like the first piece of software that you started using and you started like producing on?
Ableton. Actually, not even Ableton. GarageBand.
Okay, which one do you
Uh,
use now? Like, what's your go-to now?
FL Studio.
FL Studio. Okay, okay, I like FL Studio. I think FL Studio is some top tier.
Yeah, the workflow is very good. I love the whole workflow and how easy everything is.
Hmm.
Started with GarageBand, moved to Ableton. Regretted that a lot. Uh, I'm not understanding any of this. It was just too complicated for me.
Right.
Then I moved to FL. I'm like, okay. This is starting to make sense why it's like this, and it's a little more colorful than Ableton. So I'm like,
Yeah, I tried Ableton one time. Ableton can get confusing, and you have to really. There's quite a learning curve there.
yeah.
FL
So
Studio, its controls are more intuitive, I think, and especially if you need to make rhythmic
yeah,
compositions. I think their engine, if for lack of a better word, I think is one of the best ones.
yeah,
The only other stuff I've used is like Cubase and Logic, and I think putting beats together, I think FL Studio is probably like the top one. Logic and the other stuff is good for like mastering. I think like mastering, especially if you're doing vocals or something like that. Is that
definitely.
something that because you mentioned point blank, um, is that how deep that you've reached now, understanding the mastering and mixing process, and it's not just about putting the instruments together, but how to equalize and
Yeah, I
what's
mean,
your so sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So I mean, before I even came to Point Blank,
Hmm.
keep in mind when I was in India, I school was like my part-time thing. So
Okay. Okay.
so I was focusing on music like anything. So like some a point of your career, your parents would ask you, "Are you making any money out of it? You're putting in so much of time."
Mm.
So I started, okay, I gotta make money. What are the skills I have? I can produce, I can DJ. I've been mixing my own songs, so probably I can mix and master for other people. That's something I started doing back in India. I
Okay.
started becoming mixing engineers, recording engineer, mastering engineers for like movies, additional programmers for movies, Tamil movies, Bollywood movies, that kind of stuff. Did that.
Nice.
So that kind of improved, I would say. I
Mm.
didn't know anything when I initially first got my project. I'm like, oh shit, what am I going what am I supposed to do with this? They just
That's
sent
dope.
me songs. I acted like as if I'm a big shot mixing engineer. I
Right.
didn't know shit for that. But I got
How
it.
did
I'm like,
how did you pick up that knowledge?
YouTube, YouTube.
Okay, you watch a lot of like, hey man, there's nothing
God.
wrong with that. I watch a lot of YouTube shit. It's
YouTube.
a lot of
It's
information on there.
it's the most inexpensive college ever. You learn a
Very true.
lot of stuff from there. If you're able to search right, you can get
Mm.
your answer.
Nice, nice, nice. Do you think that you yourself would probably go into doing, or if you haven't done it already, would you make like, all right, so you're gonna be a big shot producer and DJ. Your name is gonna be up there. Are you gonna start doing like education stuff for other people, like tutorials and stuff? Learn to produce like Enchanted Core. Would you be doing things like that too?
Maybe if that's what my crowd wants, that's what the people want. Yeah, because uh, I was teaching music production back in India again, just to
He
make
was teaching music production.
yeah
Okay.
yeah just to make another part-time job kind of a thing.
You've done a lot of stuff for a young person. Let me just say that, by the way.
Yeah, wherever I
that's
saw
that's
an
cool though.
wherever I saw an opportunity, I'm like, okay, head first, I'm in. What am I supposed
Nice.
to do? Whether it's good or bad, that's later. It's an
That's
opportunity
a
in
good attitude,
music.
man.
It's an opportunity in music, and I want to take it.
Hmm. Hmm. Good
So
attitude.
uh, they gave me like an internship where I learned DJing in sound room. It's a big DJ school in Chennai. So
Okay.
I won some competition for being like the best DJ in that school. So
Nice.
they gave me an internship because I can make music. I'm like, can you teach music? I, I I never taught anyone, but like, yeah, I can teach music for sure. It's not that hard. Oh boy, it was hard. Uh, because you gotta have patience, man. You gotta have a lot of patience for that. I did that.
So,
So
uh-huh.
maybe if they want it, if I get into a stage where a lot of producers are following me and they want to know my secrets, take it. I'm not gonna gatekeep anything. I'm gonna be
Since you
there.
said that was so hard, right? On your journey so far, and let's say your whole musical journey, what's been the hardest thing?
Uh, networking.
Mm,
It's one of it's something I lack. It's either networking and overthinking. That thing goes in hand to hand because when I go talk to a new person and be like, look, I'm a DJ and I introduce myself, a question just pops up into my head. Why the hell do they care?
mm. Okay.
Why the hell do they care? Like that kind of starts overthinking and like then I'm like, okay, why am I here?
Okay.
So that has to be like it still happens today.
Mm.
Even today when I have to go talk to someone, that's like a question that comes up. But I would say I'm slowly improving out of it. That that
I think the open decks are good for that.
yeah
And mind you, I've only been to two, so and they were very far in between, but it seems like a good vibe.
yeah
And at least you're
definitely
there with
is.
other DJs, so at least you're not gonna sound like a weirdo being like, "Yeah, I'm a DJ." They're like, "Cool,"
Yeah
because everyone's a DJ.
yeah
So, well, not everyone actually, because some of the people that came there, they're not even into DJing; they were just there
yeah
to enjoy. But yeah, and that's how we met each other. So there
yeah.
you go. And now I have one of the earliest interviews with you. When you start blowing up and being a big star, I could be like, "Hey, man."
Thank you.
I one of the first people to interview him. That's cool. That's cool. So networking. So it's just like, do you feel at this point that, and I, I'm not really a religious man myself, but I'm no stranger to religion. Do you feel sometimes like you were just destined to do music? Like this is just in you to do this?
Never really felt like I've always felt like I want to do something new with music or but I don't know actually because most of the my parents always say that my mom don't
Hmm.
have a dad. Uh,
Okay, fair.
my mom always says that I've always seen you like I think you are destined to do only music because even when they named me when I was born, they named me Akal Kirat, and in
Okay.
Punjabi that means singer for the gods.
Okay.
So even back then, apparently, when I was, you know, when my mom was pregnant with me, she always used to think I'm going to do something with music because whenever she turns on music, apparently I'll start kicking and doing all those sort of stuff. And
Okay.
even when I was a kid, I was always tend to go towards toys that are make weird sounds.
Okay.
So she always thought I'm destined to do something with music, but
Hmm.
I never felt like, oh shit, I'm born here to be a musician. Because
Okay.
initially I wanted to be a pilot. Like,
A pilot.
yeah, my
Okay.
mom was a pilot. I'm like, I gotta honor her name. I want to be a pilot.
Okay. Okay. And then you fell in love with music, and then it's like, ah, there's enough pilots in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. And you know what? I guess, especially when you get into music, it's such a universal thing that there'll be pilots listening to you.
Yeah.
People will be on the plane listening to your music probably. So that's dope, man. That's dope. What is since I look at it as you're in your early stages of your journey, and you've done quite a lot already. By the way, let me just commend you for that. A lot of people don't have that kind of attitude, that go get attitude. I see an opportunity, let me just dive in. And you
Thank you.
say you overthink, but at least you only overthink about networking and you don't overthink about taking opportunities. Because if you overthink thought too much, you wouldn't take the opportunities. Like, I don't know
Uh,
if I'm good enough to, but you
I
just
I
go, you know
do
what?
I
Jumping
do
in.
I do that, but I have uh that's why I have like few friends who I know
Mm,
who will break break my thought process. For example, Blazer. I
mm,
love that dude. If I start overthinking, I'm like, dude, I'm gotten into like a full-on overthinking phase. What do I do? I just give the question to him. He'll help me out. There are people back in India who I trust them with my life,
mm,
and they trust me with their life. So I always have that kind of a support when I do go into that kind of a stage where I'm way too cooped up into my own self. They're
mm.
there to help me. It's a good
Nice, man.
opportunity. It's a bad opportunity. They shut up and go do it. Don't think, just do.
That's actually really important, because they always say whatever it is that you try to do in life, you need to surround yourself with the right people. And it sounds like you
Definitely.
got a good set of people around you, so that's good, man.
I'm honestly, I'm just lucky. I have them. I'm going to cherish them until whenever they're there. Just make sure they know I actually really like them and they're a big part of my life.
Nice, nice. So we're coming up, we're running out of time a little bit. So I
Yeah.
just want to ask you, how, so do you have any siblings, by the way? Or are you the only child?
No, I have a elder sister.
Older sister. Okay. All right. Well, what I was gonna say is, like, say you come up, there's someone younger that comes to you, and they're an aspiring DJ or producer. What kind of advice, based on your own experiences, what kind of advice would you give somebody else who's trying to get into music, whether it be DJing or producing or both?
Uh, I would say try to. It's a pretty hard one because I tried a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff clicked.
Mm,
But if I have to say one go-to advice would be do something that, like even in music, you can easily get pushed away just because, let's say if you have a mentor and that mentor is in a different field of music, but you are in but you do something else, it's very easy for you to just get carried away just because. they're teaching you in that kind of a sense. Or because when I was young, just because a lot of the DJs I looked up to in Chennai, they played a lot of Bollywood music, so I thought, oh shit, I have to be a Bollywood DJ. In fact,
Right.
I didn't really like Bollywood music that much, to be fair.
Okay.
It wasn't my thing.
Hmm.
Uh, but I got so cooped up into that I have to do only that. I kind of forgot who I was, who the
Hmm.
EDM side of Enchanted Core was. But once I found myself again, I was like, okay, this is it. Focus on this. Try to take inspiration from that and mix it within yourself. Make it something unique. But just because for someone else it's working and that kind of a genre or trend is working doesn't mean you have to do it.
Right.
Use their path of success, but do it in your own unique way. Do it. Just don't
So you're
ca-
kind of saying like,
just don't copy what someone else is doing blindly.
so you're
That's
saying like,
something.
figure out who you are and stay true to yourself.
Yeah,
Draw inspiration from others, but always stay true to yourself.
yeah. Because I've gotten lost when I was because I was also pretty young. I was like, oh shit, this is the only way to do it. So
I am so much older than you that it's still funny to me to hear you say, when I was young. I'm like, you're young now. But I get what you're saying.
yeah, I was easily inspired by those people because I looked up to them. They're my teachers. They're my mentors. It's hard to say no to them when they give you an opportunity, especially if
That's
it's
true.
not in your field. Like
You just feel
especially,
like you're obligated to do this.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you, do you have people that you look up to just now? They're not necessarily mentors, but just people you admire and be like, I really draw inspiration from this DJ or this producer.
Yeah. Obviously they're like the big artists who I really like, who are Skrillex, Martin
Hmm.
Garrix. Oh my God,
Okay.
I love Martin Garrix. He,
Would he be at the
he
top then?
yeah.
Martin Garrix.
For
Okay.
the
Okay.
past 4 years, when you see my Spotify rap, he's been the number one artist. And I've always
Okay.
been like the 0.05% listener every single time. It's a little
Okay.
embarrassing, but I, I love that
So
kind
you
of
like you
music.
like Martin's work.
Yeah, very much.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And then there's obviously my teacher who taught me DJing.
Right.
He's in a whole Bollywood field, but he's the one who taught me how to be in a stage, how to even if you screw up some mix, you should not show it in your face. How do you talk? Do you talk in a mic? How do you stay confident? How do you only when you are comfortable on that stage, the crowd will start dancing. If you are like this, they're not gonna dance. They're gonna feel a
Yeah.
little awkward because you're showing your face. You got to be confident. You got to be comfortable. He taught me how to break my shell and go through all of that. So
Nice.
I look up to him a lot. Anytime I'm like in a path where I don't know what to do, I just phone him.
Yeah. That's
I
nice.
don't know what to do. Please help me out again. And he
Nice.
always picks up. He always answers. He always gives me advice.
Ah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Real quick, you use FL Studio with your producing.
Yeah.
So when you actually DJing, what do you use?
Record box and pen
Ah,
drives. Yeah.
Record box. Nice.
You
I,
used
I,
to
I,
use Serato, but then
mm,
once I moved into CDJs and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I need to start getting pen drives.
yeah, the open decks, because until I came to that first open deck, I think that's why I made you way back in that skate park looking place
Yeah,
as
the
well.
skate park. Yeah.
That was one of the I didn't even know. Like maybe a week before that, I didn't even know open decks existed. And
No.
then I realized, shit, I have to have a pen drive. So ever since I started DJing, I started using streaming platforms because I
Yeah.
had lost all my music already. So to get all of that music back, I was like, hell nah, I'm just gonna get on a streaming platform. But you can't do that if you go to an open deck. You gotta have a pen drive or flash
Yeah.
drive or whatever. And I just happen to still have house music. So that's why I always do a house set.
Yeah. I
And to
mean,
be
it's a
fair,
pretty good set also. So
thank you, man. I think I just really like mixing music, and house music is actually my favorite to DJ. It's not my favorite to listen to.
Yeah,
but it's my favorite to DJ. I think I still have a New York bias. I love rap music, rap and hip hop. That's like the top of the totem pole for me.
yeah,
But when it comes to actual DJing, I love DJing house music and all types of house, whether it's electro house, tech house. I never even knew there was a thing as bass house the way that you just described that. So that's new to me now because there's so many subgenres and flavors of just
a lot.
EDM.
Yeah, oh, there's a lot, man.
And one of the things I'm definitely going to do is check out your what. One reason I'd asked you about the drum and bass is because where I started DJing, they surprisingly to me they actually request a lot of drum and bass. So, and I always want to try to, when you're DJing with these crowds, you have to stay pretty mainstream, but every now and then you can slip something in. So I just
Yeah,
wanted to know whatever it is that you have, especially since I use streaming platforms, provided you're on something like Tidal or BeatSource or whatever, if you get your music there. Then I was thinking, well, I'll play your music too, man. As long as
yeah,
you
sure.
you have something that could fit into my set, I have no problem championing you, man, and playing your
Thank you
stuff.
so
In fact, I will
much.
do that. So
Thank
I'll
you
I'll
so
play
much.
I'll take more of your socials because I already have you on Instagram, and I'll look to see everything else. And obviously, I'll just highlight you if I need to find more information.
Of
And
course.
yeah, man, I'll play your music, and I'll tell you today, and I'll probably tell Blazer too when I get a chance to speak to him. But I'm a fan of you guys, and I'm rooting
Thank
for
you
you
so
guys,
much.
and I'll keep in touch, man. And thank you very
Of
much for
course.
sitting down with me and doing this.
It was really fun. It, this is the very first interview, so not gonna lie, I was a little nervous initially.
Oh, is it?
Like, yeah, so very fun experience. It was really
Cool,
fun.
man. Cool, man. I'm glad I was one of the people that helped because you're gonna do way more interviews in the future anyway. So I'm glad I could be a part of your journey too, man. Because this is just
Thank you so
me from a
much.
DJ point of view. I like DJ and everything, but I'm really more into just media, like being like a media figure. So that's what I've
Yeah,
decided I want to work on. I think I'm good at talking and interviewing and stuff. So yeah. But bro, thank you very much for joining me. I'm gonna
thank you
let you
for
go.
having me.
And I definitely want to. Hopefully, I could interview you again sometime in the future. We could do like a catch up or something to see what stage that you've reached, and maybe we could highlight some of the music and stuff
100%.
and talk about different things.
Of course.
Excellent,
Always here.
man. All right, well, thank you very much. Anyway, well, I was DJ Pretty Boy. That was Enchanted Core joining me today. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you soon.